Hi, this is Shannon. Today I had my gallbladder taken out. It is 6:10 in the evening. My surgery was at 9 a.m. So I thought I'd let you know how it went. I went in this morning at 7. My husband brought me in, and I was having some anxiety a couple weeks prior to the surgery. But the last couple days, I really kind of pulled it together, and I was resigned to the surgery and ready to have it done. Sunday, I developed a head cold. So I laid around all day Sunday, and I ended up taking off a half day from work on Monday, which I felt like a total putz about, but everybody was in agreement that I needed to get out of there and get better. So Tuesday, I went into work, and I was, still feeling like crap. And one of my very helpful coworkers says to me, "Oh, they might cancel your surgery if you have a cold." At which point, kind of broke my Zen mode. I was very upset by the idea of that. So I called the hospital, and they were basically like, "Well, it's up to the anesthesiologist." So on Tuesday, I'm sitting there thinking, I'm going to go in tomorrow. I'm going to get checked in. The anesthesiologist is going to come in and say, "Sorry, go home." And I wasn't going to have that. I was like, if they cancel that, I was just not going to do it. Excuse me. So I woke up this morning. I felt a little bit better, cold wise. And so I went in there, and like I said, my husband came with me. We went in, we checked in, and I sent him downstairs with my sample for my pregnancy test. And while he was gone, the nurse says, "Okay, let's go back. I'll send your husband back in an hour." At which point, I broke my steely resolve, and I cried like a baby. I didn't cry like a baby. I was definitely upset. But the nurses were very supportive and very helpful. So my first nurse, got me in and, gave me clothes to get dressed, and, was going to take my vitals and do some of the stuff on the computer and then put it in the IV. And the whole time she's sitting there, she's yawning, and she's telling me about how she was up late at the Indians game last night. So needless to say, when the time came for her to put in the IV, she dug around in my left arm for about 5 minutes, which was not fun. And she finally pulled it out and called for some backup, and they ended up putting it in my right hand. But by that time, I was upset again. But it was fine. It was it was in. It was over with, and the anesthesiologist came in and talked to me for a little bit, and then the surgeon came in and they sent my husband in, and they talked to him for a little bit, and by then she said, "Yeah, we were about 20 minutes early, so let's just go." So they wheeled me down the hallway and into the operating room, and the anesthesiologist told me to keep breathing in the oxygen mask, and I don't even remember falling asleep. I don't even remember. Next thing I know, they were pushing me back into my bed and wheeling me somewhere else. So after that, in the recovery room, I do remember, I felt like I was conscious, but my body was asleep. Like I just, my eyes were closed. I wasn't moving, and I actually felt fine. Like my throat didn't really hurt because I wasn't really swallowing or coughing. I didn't feel any pain because I wasn't moving, and I pretty much laid like a vegetable for 2 hours until finally just kind of opened my eyes and figured out what was happening to me. So I have 3 holes in my belly. The holes actually don't hurt. It's the area where my gallbladder was. It's I feel like I've been shanked. That's what I feel like. And in the hospital, I didn't. She asked me if I wanted pain med. I'm like, no, I'm cool. I'm good. I was able to leave by 2. They were all pretty pleased with that. I got out of surgery about 10 after 10. Well, I got into recovery about 10 after 10. I did crack an eyeball open to check out the time. But yeah, so, I was only in recovery for 4 hours. So then I was able to get dressed and leave. And yeah, I was like, all right, this is cool. I gave birth once, so this wasn't the worst thing in the world. It's probably about 5 o'clock is when things really started. Like I said, I feel like I've been shanked in the belly. It hurts to walk. I kind of walking hunched over. Of course, my bathroom's on the second floor, and my husband's been walking, helping me up the stairs and everything. I don't have that gas pain that everybody heard about. Even the recovery nurse was like, "Oh, you're gonna have pass gas and burp and get it out of your system." I haven't had any problems. Like I don't feel that pain, so that's good. Um, I don't have nausea. I was really adamant about, I told 17 people I puked my guts out when I had my wisdom teeth taken out. So they gave me a transderm Scott patch back here. Doing pretty good. I've been eating. One of my coworkers brought over dinner. So I've been eating. I did take a pain pill around 5 o'clock. I don't want to say it took the edge off. If anything, I feel like a little out of it. Very thirsty, and I have a headache, and I kind of wish the headache would go away. But so I'm just glad it's over. Right now I'm laid up on the couch. I was sitting in the recliner, and probably gonna be on this couch for the next 3 days. So we'll see what happens. But I made it. So thanks for watching.